Have you ever wondered, as you pass the age of 60, who will truly be there for you? When you're young, the answer seems obvious: family, close friends, people you've known for years. But life has a funny way of changing things, doesn't it? As you reach this stage of life, reality starts to look a little different. Life gets busier, people have their own priorities, and suddenly, you realize that the support system you always relied on might not be as dependable as you once thought. Don't get me wrong, family is still important, but life doesn't always go according to plan. Declining health, financial constraints, close friends passing away. These things can happen at any time. So, who can you really count on? Welcome to today's video. We're going to explore 6 essential pillars that you can rely on even more than family as you get older. This isn't about alienating people, but about understanding the sources of true stability and ensuring that you're not left stranded when you need support the most. When you build a solid foundation based on these 6 pillars, you'll gain a sense of security and independence that will help you navigate the challenges of life. Stick around until the end of the video, because these 6 pillars can completely change how you think about support. Once you understand them, you'll never feel helpless, lonely, or unprepared again. Let's start with the first and perhaps most important pillar, which is your financial stability. The most reliable support you'll ever have isn't a person, but your financial independence. Money may not buy happiness, but it buys security, freedom, and peace of mind. The older you get, the more you realize that relying on family for financial assistance isn't a plan, it's a risk. Your children have their own lives, their own expenses, and their own families to take care of. Even if they love you deeply, they may not always be in a position to help you when you need it most. Think about Richard, a 72-year-old man who always assumed his children would step in if he had financial trouble. He helped them through college, lent them money when they needed it, and was always there when they called. But when an unexpected medical issue depleted his savings, he turned to his children for help. He only realized that they were struggling with mortgages, bills, and their own financial challenges. It wasn't because they didn't care, but because life is unpredictable. I know, we Americans tend to be self-reliant, not wanting to become a burden to our children. But sometimes life knocks us down. That's why financial stability is one of the strongest pillars you can build. It's not about being rich, it's about being prepared. It's about having a plan for emergencies, a reliable income stream you can count on, and a clear understanding of how to manage your money so you never have to depend on anyone else to survive. If you're in your 60s or older, it's time to ask yourself, do I have enough savings to cover unexpected expenses? Is my retirement income secure? Have I minimized financial risks that could put me in a difficult position? If the answer is no, now is the time to take action. Learn to budget wisely, avoid unnecessary debt, and invest in things that will provide long-term stability. Consider diversifying your investments, seeking advice from a trusted financial advisor, and making sure you have adequate health insurance. Because ultimately, your financial security is the one thing that will always be there for you, no matter what life throws your way. Next, we have physical health. There's one thing in life that no amount of love, money, or support from others can replace: your health. After 60, your body becomes your greatest ally or your greatest obstacle. The truth is, you can have all the financial security in the world, but if your health declines, your freedom disappears. And while family may care about you, they can't exercise for you, they can't eat the right foods for you, and they can't stop the effects of aging for you. That responsibility is entirely yours. Too many people neglect their health, assuming that when the time comes, someone will be there to take care of them. But the reality is that even if your family loves you, they have their own lives. They may not have the time, energy, or ability to be your caregiver. And relying on others to manage your health can leave you feeling helpless. That's why prioritizing your health now is one of the most important investments you can make for your future. Consider the story of Carl, a 68-year-old man who was always active when he was younger, but let himself go after retiring. He thought he had plenty of time to get back in shape, but before he knew it, his energy levels had dropped, his mobility had declined, and simple tasks became difficult. His children visited when they could, but they couldn't be there every day to help him. Eventually, He realized that if he wanted to maintain his independence, he had to take control of his health. Not tomorrow, not next year, but right now. You don't have to train like an athlete, but small, consistent efforts will make all the difference. Move your body every day, eat foods that energize you instead of harming you, and take your health checkup seriously. If you've been ignoring warning signs, persistent aches, difficulty walking, changes in energy levels, it's time to stop brushing them aside. Your future self will thank you for every healthy choice you make today. Because ultimately, your strongest support system isn't your children, siblings, or friends, but your ability to be healthy, active, and capable on your own. And the more you prioritize your health now, the less you'll have to rely on others later. The third pillar, a frequently overlooked element, is your social circle. One of the biggest mistakes people make as they get older is isolating themselves. Perhaps it happens slowly. Friends move away, loved ones pass on, and before you know it, your social circle has shrunk more than you ever imagined. The problem is, without strong friendships, loneliness can creep into your life, and loneliness, especially after 60, is very dangerous. It affects not only your emotions, but also your health, your mental acuity, and even your longevity. You may assume that family will always be there for companionship, but the truth is that your children have their own lives. They have careers, families, and responsibilities that keep them busy. They may love you deeply, but they can't be your sole source of companionship. That's why one of the most important pillars of support is your social network. The people who care about you, who make you laugh, who bring energy to your life. These relationships aren't a luxury, they're a necessity. Look at someone like Margaret, a 73-year-old woman who always relied on her family for company. She had 2 sons, both of whom loved her deeply. But as the years went by, they became busy with work and raising their own children. They still called, but the daily visits and weekend gatherings became less frequent. Margaret began to feel lonely, waiting for the phone calls that didn't always come. And she made a change. She started reconnecting with old friends, joined a community group, and even took up new hobbies that introduced her new people. Suddenly, her life was filled with conversations, laughter, and a sense of purpose. She didn't have to wait for family to feel connected. She created that connection for herself. Friendships, community groups, and even casual acquaintances give you something invaluable, a sense of belonging. Whether it's a neighbor you chat with, a book club you join, or a group at your local gym, having people in your life outside of family creates a foundation of emotional strength. And the more relationships you build now, the more support you'll have in the years to come. So ask yourself, who do you have in your life right now that brings you joy? If the answer isn't clear, it's time to expand your circle. Because ultimately, a strong social network isn't just about having friends. It's about having people who lift you up, remind you of your value, and make every stage of life richer. The fourth pillar, an often overlooked element, is your sense of purpose. One of the most neglected sources of support in life isn't another person, but your own sense of purpose. After 60, many people start to feel a shift. The roles that once gave meaning to life, parenting, working, caring for others, begin to fade. Retirement arrives, children become independent, and the pace of life slows down. And without a clear sense of direction, it's easy to start feeling invisible, unnecessary, or even lost. The truth is, no matter how much your family loves you, they can't give you purpose. That's something you have to build for yourself. Having a reason to wake up in the morning, whether it's a passion, a project, or a goal, keeps your mind sharp, your emotions stable, and your life fulfilling. It's what keeps you engaged with the world instead of just watching from the sidelines. Think about someone like George, a 70-year-old retired engineer. When he left the workforce, he was thrilled to finally relax. But after a few months, he started feeling restless, as if something was missing. His days felt empty. His children visited occasionally, but they had their own lives. That's when he decided to take action. He started volunteering at a local school, teaching kids how to build things. Soon, he had a new reason to wake up every morning, something that made him feel valuable, useful, and engaged with life. Purpose doesn't necessarily have to come from a job. It could be anything that makes you feel alive. learning something new, mentoring others, gardening, painting, traveling, or even just setting personal goals. It's about doing things that bring you joy and keep you mentally and emotionally active. If you feel like your best days are behind you, it's time to change that mindset. Your purpose isn't something that disappears as you get older, it evolves. And the more you invest in finding meaning in your daily life, the less you'll need to rely on others for happiness. Because ultimately, the strongest support you can have isn't someone holding your hand, but the fire within you that keeps you moving forward. The fifth pillar, no less important, is your emotional resilience. Life has a way of testing you, no matter how old you are. After 60, the challenges don't stop, they just change. Friendships fade, loved ones pass away, health issues arise, and sometimes life feels lonelier than ever before. The truth is, no matter how much support you receive from others, the most reliable source of strength will always come from within. The ability to adapt, process your emotions, and find peace in difficult moments is what keeps you moving forward, even when circumstances aren't what you hoped for. Too many people rely on family to be their emotional support system, believing that their children, siblings, or relatives will always be there to comfort them. But the reality is that everyone has their own battles to fight. They may not always have the time or energy to be the source of emotional stability you need. That's why building emotional resilience is so important. It allows you to find strength within yourself instead of constantly seeking it from others. Consider the story of Helen, a 75-year-old woman who lost her husband after 40 years of marriage. At first, she relied on her children for emotional support. But over time, she realized that while they cared deeply, they had their own families and responsibilities to manage. She knew she couldn't expect them to fill the void she felt inside. Instead of letting her grief overwhelm her, she focused on strengthening herself emotionally. She joined a support group, started journaling, and practiced gratitude daily. Over time, she discovered something powerful. She didn't need anyone else to heal her sorrow. She had the strength to heal herself. Emotional resilience isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending to be strong all the time. It's about acknowledging your pain, processing it in a healthy way, and developing coping mechanisms that allow you to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace. It's about having outlets, whether it's writing, meditation, therapy, or simply self-reflection, that help you find peace within yourself instead of depending on others to provide it. No matter what life throws your way, the ability to stand on your own 2 feet will always be one of your greatest sources of support. The more you cultivate emotional resilience, the less you'll feel dependent on others to make you feel whole. Because ultimately, the person who will always be there for you through every hardship and every triumph is you. And finally, the 6th pillar, perhaps the most adaptable, is your ability to adapt. If there's one truth about life after 60, it's this: nothing stays the same. People change, circumstances change, and the things you once relied on may not be as dependable as they used to be. The key to thriving during this stage of life isn't clinging to the past, but your ability to adapt. The people who struggle the most with aging are often the ones who resist change, who cling too tightly to what was instead of embracing what is. But the people who learn to adjust, stay open-minded, and welcome new possibilities will find joy and fulfillment no matter what life brings. Many people assume that once they reach a certain age, they're set in their ways, but that kind of thinking can be dangerous. It can keep you from exploring new opportunities, meeting new people, and learning things that could enrich your life. Adaptability isn't just about accepting change. It's about actively seeking out ways to grow with it. Look at someone like Frank, a 78-year-old man who always relied on in-person friendships to stay connected. When many of his friends moved away or passed away, he initially felt lost. He thought, I guess this is life when you get old. But then, instead of resigning himself to loneliness, he decided to adapt. He learned how to use video calls to stay connected with family far away, joined an online discussion group about history, and even made new friends in the process. Instead of letting change defeat him, He allowed himself to grow with it. The people who thrive after 60 aren't necessarily the ones with the most resources or the strongest support systems, but the ones who refuse to get stuck in their ways, the ones who stay curious, and the ones who find ways to adjust no matter what life throws at them. If one door closes, they look for another. If a relationship changes, they find new ways to connect. If something isn't working anymore, they're willing to try something different. Your ability to adapt is one of the greatest pillars of support you'll ever have. It allows you to navigate life with resilience, optimism, and confidence. And the more you embrace change instead of fearing it, the less you'll feel like you're losing something, and the more you'll realize that every stage of life offers something new to gain. As we near the end of this video, remember this. Reaching the age of 60 and beyond is a stage of life that comes with both wisdom and challenges. And while family may always hold a special place in your heart, the reality is that the most reliable support you'll ever have isn't found in other people, but in the foundation you build for yourself. Your financial stability ensures that you never have to rely on someone else to survive. Your physical health determines whether you can maintain your freedom and independence. Your social circle keeps you connected, engaged, and emotionally fulfilled. Your sense of purpose gives your life meaning and direction, no matter how old you are. Your emotional resilience strengthens you against life's inevitable hardships. And your ability to adapt allows you to thrive even when things don't go according to plan. If you have these 6 pillars in place, you'll never feel completely alone. You'll never have to beg for help, feel helpless in difficult times, or wait for someone to step in and save you. Because true stability doesn't come from hoping others will be there for you. It comes from knowing that you're ready to stand strong, no matter what life brings. Thank you for joining us today. We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned today and how you plan to use in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Don't forget to click the bell button to receive notifications about our latest videos. And remember, building these 6 pillars isn't an overnight task. It's a journey, an ongoing commitment to your growth and well-being. But I believe that with effort and perseverance, you can create a fulfilling and meaningful life, regardless of your age or circumstances. Good luck, and we'll see you in the next video.